Good morning, campers. Welcome to Radio Camp Half-Lit, a Percy Jackson podcast. I am your host, Zach.
And I'm B.
And this week we read another chapter. Woo!
We sure did. And something happened in this one.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. Though, reading this, like, oh, but he's not going to get any answers until next week.
It was very disappointing, like it was leading up to the answers, like, oh, like they're finally at, from what I imagine, Camp Half-Blood is, that's the name of our show. That's the name of the place that they went.
Yeah, that's exactly where they went. Yeah, or they ended up at McDonald's.
Or they ended up at another camp. I don't know if there's multiple camps.
They ended up at Hogwarts. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
So this week's chapter was called My Mother Teaches Me Bullfighting.
Yeah, the chapters are always really hilariously titled.
And I mean, technically it's true.
It was pretty literal, actually, in terms of how it was titled, but also, like, it's not really a bull, it's a Minotaur dude who has it out for Percy.
Everyone has it out for Percy.
Yeah, because he keeps figuring stuff out, and that makes them more likely to try and find him. That'll be explained, right? Eventually.
Everything will be explained. A lot of stuff will be explained. Though, right now, the whole point of this chapter begins with they are driving fast as they can in the middle of Long Island at the dead of night during a hurricane.
Yeah, with the Camaro that they're supposed to, like, not get a scratch on, which we'll find out isn't a realistic goal to have.
Well, I think Gabe should have kept that receipt. You can do that with cars, right?
Just the receipt, like, just return it, like, oh, I broke it, sorry.
Yeah, I think it works like that.
Also, yeah, it's like an old Camaro, though, so he has, it's like a vintage car.
Oh, so he has to return to Urban Outfitters.
He has to return it to the vintage store, yeah. You just go to, like, a thrift shop. Can you just take this off my hands? I don't really...
I don't know, man. We don't really sell cars. We only sell unicycles and big wheel tricycles.
Yeah, so they're in the Camaro. He's very confused.
Percy, the first thing he notices is he's just like, so, you're a goat.
Well, he says that he's a donkey at first, right? And he gets offended by that, which is pretty funny. I like how Percy, like... He was like, oh, I recognize the smell of wet barnyard animal. And then he says, for some reason, I didn't expect a 12-year-old to know the word lanolin. I mean, I feel like I probably knew that word as a 12-year-old, but I was kind of...
I don't even know what that word means. What is that?
It's like the weird oils found in, like, certain animals with, like, wool.
Oh, is it like the damp smell?
Well, that's, like, what happens when they get wet, but, like, that... They have, like, an oil that, like, sort of moisturizes their wool. And they use it in, like, chapstick. Like, I literally just put on chapstick, and it probably has lanolin in it if I were to read
I know what it probably smells like because I used to go to at Disneyland a couple years ago. Well, right now, currently, it's Star Wars Land. But they used to have Big Thunder Ranch, so they had a huge petting zoo.
Yeah, I mean, barnyard animal is, like, a typical smell, but, like, lanolin specifically is, like, it's like that weird, greasy. It's weird that they put it in... Like chapstick, if you've ever smelled like unscented chapstick, I feel like it's mainly that, which is kind of gross.
So you're telling me that Grover smells like chapstick?
Well, certain kinds of chapstick, yeah, basically, like weird animal grease.
Man, that does not sound appetizing compared to Burt's Bees.
Yeah, that's true. I guess Burt's Bees is made out of beeswax, but I'm pretty sure there's lanolin also in Burt's Bees. It's in most chapsticks and like a lot of moisturizers and stuff.
So Grover has goat legs and... He is...
Not donkey legs.
Not donkey legs, because that's, like, fighting words.
That's racist.
It's speciesist. Or would it be racist? I don't know.
Yeah. We're not all the same.
So Grover is a satyr.
He sure is.
Yes. He's half goat, half man. Or half boy.
And he also vaguely knows Percy's mom.
Well, yeah, sure. They don't really know each other. They probably, like, IM each other, like, winky faces all the time.
Like, you got this under control, winky face, goat emoji.
Yes.
Sparkly emoji, lightning emoji.
And then Sally Jackson just puts back K. Well, I mean, no wonder Grover accidentally, I'm doing quotation marks, lost Percy.
I'm confused about how much they were communicating, because...
It probably wasn't much. It was just like, hey, they're gonna send someone to watch your boy, and don't worry, things under control. And then Sally Jackson got a text, yeah, we lost your boy.
Yeah, because he shows up at the apartment where Sally's living, and she doesn't seem, like, confused why Percy's there.
Well, I would imagine that she assumed Grover, whoever it was, just dropped him off, and he's, like, has, like, a stakeout.
I don't know. They don't have, like, I guess, walkie-talkies, like, all right, he's in the building.
Well, I didn't hear that. Did you say over? Over.
Are we gonna do a whole bit about walkie-talkies? Because I don't know if I could do.
Wait, what? Did you finish your sentence? Over?
I don't know how well this would go over.
Wait, go over what? Over? Could you repeat that? Go over what? Over? Question mark?
I feel like I'm in like a Leslie Nielsen movie or something. Anyway.
You're a Leslie Nielsen movie what?
You're lucky that we live on different coasts. Because, I don't know, them's fighting words. So, he's a satyr. That's revealed. His nervous laugh all this time has been a goat noise, which I feel like you would notice. I would notice if someone's...
Well, I mean, those people that, like, when they laugh, they snort.
I guess, but there's not people who laugh who then proceed to sound like a goat. Like, that's so specific.
I mean, that's just a Grover thing. I mean, people have weird laughs. I've heard people have weird laughs.
That's true. I guess, I don't know.
Like, I think my favorite one is if you've ever watched the Garbage Pail Kids movie, a movie that you should never watch.
I luckily have not.
It has one of the worst, funniest laughs in the whole movie. There's this character, and she goes, ha 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 ha.
Fran Drescher kind of sounds like a goat when she laughs a little bit. Not unlike a goat.
Well, I mean, also, Percy's kind of clueless, so I would imagine that's just like he thinks it's just a Grover quirk.
Yeah, he kind of has a lot of denial going on. Like, it's kind of amazing he hasn't figured out a lot of stuff sooner.
Well, I mean, Percy kind of is an idiot when it comes to this type of stuff.
No, Percy, you dumb idiot friend.
I mean, they get to the point where they're talking, and Grover is like, I have to keep you safe. And Percy's like, oh, from what? Oh, no one much, Grover said, obviously, still miffed about the donkey comment. Just the lore of the dead and a few of his bloodthirsty minions.
He's not smart. He's not a bright kid. Or he also has a bit of denial going on because he doesn't know what's happening.
Or maybe he can't really fathom what's going on right now. It hasn't, like, sinked in yet.
I mean, I would understand that. I feel like if all this was going on, I'd kind of be in denial. I wouldn't immediately be like, yep, I accept this as my new reality.
I reject your reality and substitute my own. They're driving down the road. They're getting a feeling like they should have been home yesterday. Long Island roads take me home. And then they get into a car accident.
And yeah, he says that it exploded, which confused me because he didn't mean it literally. He just said it felt like it exploded.
Well, I mean, if you've been in a car accident, it does feel like an explosion, depending on how bad the car accident is. Well, I mean, okay, so then to rationalize that, you go from going, let's say Sally's going 100 miles an hour and then she just stops. That feels like an explosion.
Yeah, true. I was mildly confused. Like, you know when you read like half a sentence and you don't finish the sentence, even though the end of the sentence explains.
You're just like, your brain's already gone to the next one. You're just like,
yeah.
Explosion. Oh. It wasn't.
Yeah, it explained why it was not. So it wasn't an explosion, but they did fall into the mud and the roof cracked open like an eggshell and rain was pouring in.
And everyone's heavily concussed, basically.
Yeah, pretty concussed. Grover is just repeating over and over about food for some reason, which I imagine will be explained later. I don't know. That seems like a weird priority to have.
I mean, he is concussed. People say weird things when they're concussed.
I wasn't sure of like satyr anatomy, like can they get concussions? Like how does that work?
I mean, once I was doing something on a roof and I fell about 12 feet and I just remember all I did the entire time while I was in the emergency room was just making jokes the entire time.
I would imagine that that's what you would do as a specifically you thing.
I got a mild concussion and I cracked a rib. It was fun though. It was fun. I had graduated.
You should have just told people that you were in a bullfighting situation with a minotaur.
No, I think it's funnier that I said that I fell off a roof. It was either that or I was saving a bunch of orphans in a car accident fire.
See, that's great. You should have said that.
And one of them kept trying to fight me.
That sounds very dramatic. Like you fell off a roof, but you actually were just mostly fine. Like I have this story that's like, oh, I fell out of a car while it was moving.
I feel like the car was going like 2 miles an hour. Like, oh, I'm just gonna...
Yeah, well, like, my mom was going to park when she was dropping me off at school in, like, high school, and I opened the door and put my foot down, but there was, like, a weird traffic director who, like, told her to move forward, and my mom wasn't paying attention, so as my foot was on the ground already, she, like, drove forward with the door open, and it yanked me to the ground, and I, like, tucked and rolled. I was fine, like, I didn't have a scratch on me. I think I had maybe a slight bruise on my knee. But then there's this girl who's standing right there who just said, that person just fell out of a car, just really loudly. And then I had told people about what happened, like all my friends, and I was walking down the hallway, and then I see that girl again, and she's with her friends, and she's like, see, I'm telling you, that's the person who fell out of the car.
This sounds like a very Percy Jackson thing that will happen later on in this series. I'm getting a weird flash forward.
Does he fall out of a car?
No, just that girl.
Oh, there's someone who just keeps pointing him out. So, see, that's not that great of a story, because it wasn't like it was, like, going 100 miles an hour and I, like, jumped out or something because I was on the run.
You could have said, like, I was driving a bus and it had kept going by 55 miles an hour. If it went any slower or faster, the car would explode.
I could have done that, but I was not in speed. I was just going a mild speed outside of a high school. Scoffed out?
Yes. Scuffed out. Scoffed out.
Your bruises are gone. Just...
You can buff them out.
There we go.
So while that's happening, that's when Grover brings up a gigantic reality bomb about those 3 ladies from 2 chapters ago, and it turns out that those 3 old ladies were actually the Fates.
And it means that someone's gonna die. I like the line where it was just like, it means someone is about to die. He's like, you meant someone as in me. And he's like, no, I meant you as in general you. Like, you as in someone.
It doesn't help. I mean, the good old Fates, they're basically ye olde Grim Reapers.
Yeah, and something about if you cut the string, that means you die, right? Wait, I forget now what happened with the people in the giant thing of yarn. Did they actually cut the yarn?
Yeah, remember Percy saw them cut the yarn and he swore that he heard it from across the freeway.
Oh, yeah. So that means somebody died.
Or someone's about to die.
Oh, geez. Okay, well, that's creepy. Is that like a set in stone thing? Like, I don't know how that works. Like, you cut it and you're, all right, you're doomed.
It's more of a warning. If we look at... I think everyone put $1 in the coin jar when Zack makes a reference to Harry Potter. But it's like a superstition. Such as, 13 people at a table, like in Harry Potter. And the first person to stand up dies. It's like stuff like that. It's if you see the Fates, it's not a good thing.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not exactly a superstition because the Fates are real. They do appear. Like, it's not just like, some made-up wives' tale because they actually do appear. You know what I mean? So I thought that maybe they had like an actual, like, direct result that happened when they snipped the thing, or if it was more of like a premonition of what could happen.
No, it's something that's going to happen. It basically, Percy saw that it was cut, meaning that someone could be in the future, could be 3 seconds from now, could be dead.
Okay. Well, that's not very helpful. Could be in the future, could be 3 seconds. Like, that could be anybody.
Well, you just know someone's going to die. So one theme in a lot of Greek tragedies is people getting premonitions, and they don't know how to interpret them. So they end up inadvertently causing the thing to happen.
Right, like every episode of That's So Raven.
Yes, exactly like That's So Raven. I was going to bring up Oedipus, but I think this is a much better example. That's So Raven.
That's so Percy.
Oh, snap.
That was kind of a terrible show.
Off in the distance, they see a figure, B. They see a terrible figure.
A person with their hands up holding a blanket, right?
I looked back in a flash of lightning through the mud-spattered rear windshield. I saw a figure lumbering toward us on the shoulder of the road. The sight of it made my skin crawl. It was a dark silhouette of a huge guy, like a football player. He seemed to be holding a blanket over his head. His top half was bulky and fuzzy. His upraised hands made it to look like he had horns.
Okay, I'm sorry, but Percy's kind of being real dumb right now. He already knows his friend's a satyr, and he's like, this dude's just a normal dude with a blanket. Of course it's not. Like, you're sitting next to your friend who has hooves.
Cloven hooves.
And he smells like lanolin and wet barnyard animal, and you're looking at your car and you're like, that's a linebacker with a blanket on his head.
Who knew?
At a certain point, wouldn't you assume a different...
Well, I mean, it's kind of like I bring up the argument of, like, in SpongeBob with the hash-slinging slasher.
Okay, you bring up the hash-slinging slasher argument, of course, the classic argument.
Yeah. It's like, it's just there to be, like, a joke. Percy's a little dense here, and he's like, let's see, like he can't rationalize, this could be like a minotaur or some huge monster that's trying to get me. No, it's a linebacker that has decided to put like a blanket over him in the middle of a hurricane in the middle of the night, and he just happens to be in the same stretch of road that my mom's trying to take us away from.
At a certain point, it's like the, like hearing zebras in Central Park kind of phrase. Well, it's like, it's that, but reverse. Like, after a while, if a bunch of weird crap keeps happening to you, and there's a bunch of, like, weird mystical creatures who keep appearing, and weird stuff keeps happening, if you're in the middle of this insane chase where you're driving really fast to escape some sort of unknown mysterious force, you're not going to assume there's just going to be a really muscular guy holding a blanket. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, I'd be I don't know. I think my first inclination would be, let's get out of here. Second would be, maybe it's the mountain from Game of Thrones. And then Minotaur.
I don't know things about Game of Thrones, and I don't really want to know. My brain works in a way that I see something that looks like a normal thing, and I immediately go, it's a monster and it's going to kill me. I know that that's dumb. But that's what my brain does. So why is he, Percy Jackson, 12-year-old being pursued by literal monsters, not going, that's a monster? Because that's just what your brain does anyway. He's actively avoiding that thought. Like, I don't know.
Maybe it's the thought just didn't come into his head. Like, imagine, like, if you saw, so if you saw, like, Jason Voorhees, he's like, what is a hockey player doing out here in the middle of the woods?
Yeah, I guess he probably would say that. Or, like, it would be like Halloween, and he would just be like, wow, look, it's
William Shatner.
It's William Shatner, exactly. I loved you in that one episode of The Twilight Zone.
One of my favorite... there's, like, this new movie coming out where William Shatner plays an alien plant, and my first thought was he's hit rock bottom.
An alien plant as in an alien spy, or an alien plant as in an alien...
In, like, foliage. He plays, like, a flower. He plays an alien flower.
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I'm being 100% serious. He's a flower in a pot, and the whole marketing of this movie is, we got William Shatner, guys. Look at these weird aliens, but we got William Shatner.
Is it like Little Shop of Horrors?
No, it's like this kid he befriends a bunch of aliens, and one of them happens to be William Shatner as a flower.
I feel like you're making this all up. Like, I'm having a really hard time. It sounds like you're just like extemporaneously just coming up with like the weirdest scenario for a show. It just
sounds like William Shatner needed to get out of a parking ticket.
Yeah, it does kind of. I mean, I don't know. It seems like he's been kind of on a downward slope for a while.
A while? Since Star Trek Generations.
Yeah, pretty much. Or at least since, wasn't he on a roast?
Yeah, the roast of William Shatner.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was him who was being roasted or another Star Trek person, but yeah, it was him.
What do they actually see? B? I can't do William Shatner. Damn
you can't,
it.
yeah. You have to, pause more.
B.
And then, in the distance, we see a Minotaur. And so they see a Minotaur bull person.
Yes. Now, B, this is going to be where I'm going to ask you to do something for me, okay?
Okay, what?
Look up the German version book cover for Percy Jackson in The Lightning Thief.
For the first book?
Yes, for the first book. Did you? I think you found it, yeah.
I think I found it.
Is it the one that's in tidy whities?
Yep, yeah.
You want to describe what the Minotaur actually looks like? Because this is the German cover. You know, Germans are very serious people.
Incredibly serious. Like a bodybuilder body. Doing kind of like this sort of running pose. Just a human body. Wearing white underwear.
Not just any white underwear. Fruit of the Loom.
Fruit of the Loom white underwear. I mean, it doesn't say Fruit of the Loom on it, but I assume that that's what they were.
Well, because I mean, in the book they actually say Fruit of the they product placement name drop.
And then it's just a bull head, and then Percy is holding on to the horns, and he's vertical, like doing a handstand on the horns. And for some inexplicable reason, they're flying like there's no ground. And in the background is, like, the New York City skyline, despite the fact that they're in, like, rural Long Island somewhere, and definitely not just running along the skyline of New York City with a freaking bull. Wow. Okay.
What a cover.
Why did they do this?
Now, here's the actual description. I got my first clear look at the monster. He was 7 feet tall. Easy. His arms and legs were some thing from the cover of a Muscle Man magazine. Bulging biceps and triceps and a bunch of seps all stuffed into a baseball undervein web skin. He wore no clothes except for underwear. I mean bright white Fruit of the Looms, which would have looked funny, except for the top half of the body was so scary. Coarse black hair started from his belly button and got thicker as it reached his shoulders. His neck was a mass of muscles and fur leading up to his enormous head, which had a snout as long as my arm, snotty nostrils with gleaming brass ring, cruel black eyes, and horns, enormous black and white horns with points. You just couldn't get away from an electric sharpener.
They really didn't capture the horror of that description.
That's why the cover does justice.
Who did this and who signed off on it?
Rick Riordan, they needed a new cover.
And he was like, yep, that's fine. That's exactly what I pictured when I was writing this.
What would you picture? I don't even know what I would picture.
Well, it said that his hair started at his belly button, so, like, it's weird that his hair just starts at his neck. Like, it's just a bullhead, like, copy and pasted onto, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's body or something. It's just weird.
Like a lopsided hourglass figure where his top half is just, he's so top heavy. And
yeah, he skipped leg day or something. I don't know. He looks weird.
He's got, like, little, like, noodle legs.
I mean, they have muscles. They're just sort of smaller than you'd expect.
You just push him over and he falls over. He can't get back up because of his muscles.
Why would someone draw that and be like, yep, that seems good?
He read through the book, and that's the one image he thought, yeah, this could work. Just imagine getting them, like, reading it on the bus.
It even says in the book, it would have looked silly if only. Why would you start there?
I don't remember. I think in the movie, it's completely changed. I don't think he actually wears underwear.
Yeah, I would imagine, because that'd be kind of hard to, like, make it look intimidating, I guess. Would make it look intimidating, like, it would just be, like, some guy in underpants, like, yep,
Rawr.
I'm here to attack you.
Rawr.
It looks like just, like, a frat boy who, like, stole a mask or something.
Like a bull mask from, like, the enemy high school.
Like, everything about this is hilarious. Like, also just the way that Percy is posed and his weird handstand that he's doing, and him, like, looking, like, at the camera, like, breaking the fourth wall, kind of like, oh, well, I bet you're wondering how I got in this situation. Like, it's just... Oh, God, it's so bad. Okay, we need to stop talking about this, because I'm, like, distraught that this person was paid money to do this. Like, there are, like, honest to goodness, like talented illustrators out there, and there's like, you're okay. Here you go. Just whatever.
Let's put more money in it. If you've seen the Russian version of Series Unfortunate Event Strong, it looks like someone drew them in while they were in a gulag.
Yeah, at gunpoint, like, draw now.
Well, I mean, I've seen, like, I used to have this book about people that made pictures in gulags, and it was very similar artwork.
Really?
Yeah, it's very similar.
Incredibly dark.
That's why I can't look at it. I can't look at it properly because it disturbs me.
It feels like there's something going on. Like, it was made under duress.
It was made in a Siberian work camp.
I mean, at least the Percy Jackson cover wasn't made in a Siberian war camp, as far as we know. It's probably too whimsical for that, actually. I feel like it would be a little bit darker.
I just feel like the person, like, drawing it is actually, like, in a German castle.
German castle. Just looking out at the horizon like, I know what I will draw. I will draw.
Wait, is this Russian?
I don't know. I don't know what accent I'm doing.
That's Russian.
That's true. It was more Russian than German.
I
keep thinking of that one Vine with the guy that's just like, so you think that you can dance?
No, there we go. Today we're going to make the...
Apologies if anybody who is actually German listening to this, because yeah, it's bad.
Well, you know what's even... Okay, going off topic, have you watched Die Hard? So in the original theatrical cut of Die Hard, none of the German terrorists knew German, so when they're speaking German, they're speaking complete gibberish.
Oh my god, really? They're just... Wait, is it complete gibberish, or is it just German words completely out of context?
None of them knew German, so they started saying random words.
Oh my god, why did they cast them?
But when they re-released the movie, they overdubbed it all. So the very first, like, the theatrical cut of Die Hard, none of the people were speaking German.
And they just didn't care?
No, this is a different time. This is the 80s.
Yeah, I guess. The 80s, they didn't care about anything. Like, and you're just like, you're foreign, you're a villain in this. You don't speak God's language, which is America's English.
The Queen's dialect.
Not even that, because I feel like British people were also villains in the 80s. It was just like, if you have a vague accent, it's like, watch out, buddy, you're a villain.
Just say no.
Yeah. Okay, moving on from that horrifying cover.
So, while that's happening, Percy is trying to get Grover and his mom out of the car because, he's coming to get them. And Percy's like, oh, that's a minute. And Grover just stops him right there and then.
Like, names have power, I think his mom says. Which is also, speaking of Harry Potter, is an incredibly Harry Potter thing, like the Minotaur that shall not be named kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, the difference though, I believe, is that here, like, I would imagine they'd actually have, like, they'd just get, like, they go Super Saiyan every time you say their name, or, like, you know, remembering something, you kind of, like, will it more into existence, rather than Voldemort. Actually...
No, that works the same way. Yeah, you say his name and then he...
No, I'm trying to say, I believe, I can't remember if it was in the movie or in the book, where, was it, like, edited out? I can't remember, but actually... Voldemort put a curse on Harry, so every time he said his name, he knew where Harry was. So that's how the Death Eaters kept being able to find him, because, you know...
I didn't know that. See, I don't know things about Harry Potter. I just pretend to.
Here I am. I don't even like... I mean, I like Harry Potter, but not that much.
Yeah, I just know vague details.
I just know weird things.
Yeah, just useless knowledge that will help you in your...
You know, if I'm ever on Jeopardy and I need, like, a question like this, then yes.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway... You shouldn't say his name, or I guess, is that his name? I mean, it's not his proper name, like Mr. Minotaur. It's just describing kind of what monster he is.
Well, you just can't say, like, the actual, like, his name. Doesn't matter if you put Mr. or Mrs. It could well be a lady.
All right, so names have power, and then the bull man is, like, about to... Well, he, like, sniffs their car first, because he doesn't have very good eyesight, so he's just, like, trying to sniff them out.
So the Minotaur is now voiced by John Cena. Actually, it's John Cena.
Wait, did John Cena voice the... Ferdinand in the...
Yes.
Oh, no.
He's not that bad of an actor.
I guess, but...
He's much better than The Rock. I just go off, like, on a weird sidetrack, because I don't know. John Cena's, like, a weird guy. Like, he plays, like, dad figures, and he doesn't look like a dad. He just looks like John Cena.
Yeah, exactly. Whose dad looks like that? You know what? Actually, he looks kind of like the German cover of Percy Jackson.
So yeah, I said the live action version of Percy Jackson, if they rebooted, John Cena is the Minotaur.
Honestly, that would be very believable.
And
if you're basing it off of the German cover.
He's coming out, and surprisingly they're able to see him. And
really, you're gonna make that joke? What year is it? Like 2013?
Do.
Yep. Moving on. So, yeah.
So, Percy's able to get Grover and his mom out of the car just as the Minotaur picks up the car and throws it.
And then there's, like, a bunch of sparks and stuff as it, like, shrieks to a halt, like, scraping across the ground. Oh, and then it explodes. And then he's like, he's like, not a scratch, I remembered Gabe saying.
Oh, that's I just feel like halfway across Long Island, Gabe just felt a disturbance in the force.
He's like, wait a second. I mean... Yeah.
It was as if my chimera cried out and then was silenced all at once.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they don't have Minotaur insurance, so...
See,
there's really not much to do.
Just that other day, some crazy guy came up to Gabe like, would you like to buy some Minotaur insurance?
He's like, I'll never need that.
I'll never need that.
Minotaurs in this neck of the woods? Almost never.
Are you sure? We have volcano insurance, too.
Or hurricane insurance, I guess. That might have been a good idea.
Or asteroid insurance.
They could have lied and said that it was the hurricane. No, I mean, the hurricane would not do that.
No, because it rips the whole top of the car off and splits it literally in half. I don't think a hurricane has that much power. I mean, it does, but it doesn't have that much power.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so specific in its damage. I feel like it would just be kind of balled up.
It's as if, nature itself is trying to attack the car. Then Percy and all of them are trying to get away. They're trying to get into the woods because they've spotted something. They need to get to a certain tree. A huge Christmas-like tree. Yeah,
what does he say? He says a White House Christmas tree-sized pine tree, basically, that marks the beginning of the property of what I imagine is Camp Half-Blood.
So they make it all the way there, except Percy's mom stops because, for some reason she can't cross the property.
She can't cross it, which I imagine it's because she's not magical in some way. I have a feeling his dad is, because that's why he disappeared mysteriously. And obviously Gabe is, because not Gabe,
I
Grover
hope Gabe
is.
isn't.
Yeah, Gabe's not. Obviously Grover is because he has hoofs.
Not just a coincidence.
That's just, yeah, he's like, actually, I'm a satyr, but I can't go in. Actually, they're very racist here. They only let people in. That'd be really sad, actually, if they don't let any of, the animal people in.
So Percy's like, Mom, I'm not leaving without you. And Percy's mom's like, don't worry, I'll be fine. And the
She's not
Minotaur
fine.
she's not fine. The Minotaur picks her up and squeezes her, and she explodes.
And she disappears. Yeah. Explodes is a relative term.
Into gold light.
Fades away into like some gold dust stuff and kind of drifts away. They never say die. They never say that she died. They just say that she kind of disappeared.
She disappeared. She disappeared. She didn't she technically exploded into gold light, but she didn't quite die, except Percy doesn't quite comprehend what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I saw that happen, I would assume that they would be dead. Like, I wouldn't immediately be like, okay, she's fine.
Don't worry. And that makes Percy mad. And Percy then starts doing almost like Matrix Kung Fu.
Yeah, he does. He just, like, something takes over him, which I found kind of weird, because it's like, I get that he's, like, whatever the chosen one in this book, kind of, but, like, I don't know why he all of a sudden has, like, really sick fighting skills. Like, you could have power, but just because, I don't know.
Oh, god damn. There's this movie that I watched where it was filmed in Uganda.
Okay, where is this going?
There's a line in the movie that's like, everyone in Uganda knows Kung Fu.
Why?
Because it's an action movie.
So just everyone does. It's just for the plot, you need it to work. Yeah, I guess that's kind of like, yeah, everyone at Camp Half-Blood knows
Magical
Kung Fu.
stuff.
Magical fighting. Krav Maga.
Yeah, because, like, Percy, like, jumps over the bull, and he, like, literally grabs him by the horns and starts pulling, and then snap.
Which seems like a lot of strength for a 12-year-old. Right, he's magic somehow.
He's a magical boy.
He's a magical boy with fighting skills for some reason that he never trained for.
Who viciously murders an animal.
Well, he doesn't murder it. Oh, yeah, he does, actually.
Oh, he murders it.
No, then he stabs him. I forgot about that.
So he takes the chunk of horn that he just grabbed and stabs the Minotaur right in the heart. And the Minotaur explodes into sand.
Yeah, sand. Like the teacher also exploded into sand. It's a similar...
Yeah, Mrs. Dodds explodes.
Yes. So the evil people turn into sand and the good people turn into light.
So Percy has done it. Grover's still screaming about food. And then Percy starts to lose consciousness because the whole strain of everything. Because he's had one heck of a day.
Yeah, he's had a rough... rough week, really. A lot has been going on.
Here he was going to spend time with his mom, and now she's dead.
Mm-hmm. He had to deal with his, like, jerky, weird stepdad figure. There was a hurricane brought on by his weird magical powers that he was vaguely aware of.
And then meeting John Cena.
His best friend's a satyr. Yeah, John Cena the Minotaur was there. With his muscles and his weird...
His big meaty arms.
Yeah, his big meaty arms. He really does say that phrase, big meaty arms, and I couldn't help but, like, read it in the SpongeBob voice of, like, big meaty claws.
So, Percy starts to lose consciousness as a girl who's blonde comes up to him and kind of, like, scoops him up almost.
He's the one, he must be. Annabeth, I guess, is her name.
Yeah, her name's Annabeth. So Percy, all he's hearing as he's fading, losing consciousness. The last thing I remember is collapsing on a wooden porch, looking up at the ceiling fan circling above me. Moss flying over a yellow light and the stern face of a familiar-looking bearded man and a pretty girl, her blonde hair curled like a princess's. They both looked down at me, and the girl said, "He's the one. He must be." "Silence, Annabeth," the man said. He will be conscious. Bring him inside." Oh, he's still conscious. Bring him inside. Dyslexia.
So, I'm wondering... Yeah, I know. Sorry. Kind of ironic, considering the character. But, yeah. I wonder who the familiar-looking dude is with the beard, because I'm trying to think.
Is it Mr. Brunner?
I think it's Mr. Brunner.
It has to be Mr. Brunner. Yeah.
I feel like I'm bad at remembering physical descriptions. That's true. Familiar. You've only met one grown man other than Gabe.
That would be even creepier if it's Gabe.
If it was Gabe, he's just like, alright. That'd be a weird reveal. I feel like I keep hinting at Gabe being magical, but I don't think
He's a magical, terrible man.
He's magical in how crappy he is.
That's the real power inside of him.
What did you think of this chapter?
It was very action-packed. It went by really, really quickly. I was surprised when I finished it already.
Yeah, it did.
We didn't get much information, but I felt like we finally kind of got into, like, The plot's finally kicking in. We're gonna get answers next chapter.
Yeah, we absolutely have to get answers next chapter because there's like nothing left to happen. Like he's in the place that he's supposed to be in. Camp Half-Blood is what I imagine a lot of what the setting is going to be, at least in this book. It's where all the magical people are who have all the answers to the questions that he seeks.
He now knows that Grover is half goat. There's minotaurs and his mom's dead, so we're gonna figure out like what.
We're not dead. She disappeared into light. We don't know. I don't know. Let's not say she's dead right away.
Okay, she's MIA.
She's a magical light.
She got
being.
lost. No, actually, Sally just got lost at sea.
Oh yeah. I really did think that'd be more of a problem when I was younger, is people just getting lost at sea. I don't know. It was just really popular in kids' media. I'd be like, I don't know, maybe one day my dad will be lost at sea. Like, it's like he went on boats, first of all.
Here I am, I'm thinking of, like, the Amanda show where her mom was lost in the air in a hot air balloon.
Yeah, oh my god. I forgot about that.
I think about that all the time. It's like, I'm cold up here. There's no blankets.
Just lost in the hot air balloon forever.
I remember this when it ended and they actually brought her down. I was like, oh, that's sad. I thought that was such an engaging plot.
Such an engaging. I totally forgot about that plot.
I remember the reason why I remember that is just the part where I guess his dad loses a toe or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
Hot dog.
That wasn't just like that was like a sketch on the Amanda show. Like it was like a section. Yeah, if you're not like a '90s kid, you really don't know what we're talking about. But yeah, that was a weird show. Whatever happened to Amanda Bynes? She kind of went to a weird place, didn't she?
She probably works at like Walmart now.
No, I don't think so. I think there's somebody probably taking care of her, but she's not fully capable of communicating at this point.
But yeah, no. What did you think of this chapter, B?
I really liked it. It's like exciting. I finally feel like, I mean, we haven't really gotten exact answers. They keep being like, oh, well, we don't have time to answer because we're, on the run. Like, there's too much action happening right now for us to have time to explain. It feels like we're leading up to something. We finally see, like, magical things happening in a way that Percy, like, understands and accepts. Like, it's not just like, oh, this is a dream or whatever. Like, he's seeing all of the stuff being revealed. He knows that his mom is in on it. He knows that his mom somehow knows that Grover was watching after him in some capacity. Like, the whole conspiracy of what's going on is kind of slowly being revealed to him, so that's exciting.
Now, what do you think is going to be happening next chapter? What secrets or stuff that's going to be told? What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, they're going to probably explain Camp Half-Blood to some extent, like, because she already mentioned that there was a summer camp that Percy's dad wanted him to go to, and that she was, like, against it for some reason, so that is obviously going to probably be in there about what that means and why his mom didn't want him to go. That kind of thing. Probably something about his dad and who his dad was, hopefully, at least maybe a hint of it. Maybe not everything. They might say something to the effect of, like, why Percy is experiencing this, like, to what extent is he magic, and what is his, like, role in all of this, and then, like, why is he being pursued? Like, I don't know if all of those things are going to be completely answered, but I feel like they're going to at least touch upon that.
The next chapter is going to be all exposition.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because there was a lot of action in the past couple chapters, so they need to kind of do some explaining.
And they need to slow it down a little bit so we get an idea of what's going to be happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it can't just be nonstop action without any kind of, like, world building or anything.
What is this, Aragon? Oh, shots fired.
I've never actually read Aragon.
I hate Aragon.
Yeah. Wasn't Aragon written by, like, a child?
Well, if you really read it and pay attention to it, he basically took Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and put dragons.
I mean, that doesn't sound that bad, but it doesn't sound super original either.
No, it's not. No, I mean, literally, that's what he did. He just added plot points from Star Wars into Lord of the Rings. Then his mom, I don't think she bullied the person into publishing it, but she was very determined to get it published, and it took off. That's
the best thing you could do, is write a mediocre story about a dragon. My partner's really mad that I'm making fun of Aragon. They apparently are a big fan.
Tell them I'm sorry.
They said I threw an Aragon-themed party for my 11th birthday.
Oh, no! I mean, everything's great about Aragon. I love everything about Aragon. I think the dragons are really cool. God,
I feel really bad now. Sorry to anybody who likes Aragon. I've never read it, so I don't really have an opinion. I'm just like...
Hi, welcome to the Aragon podcast. So I'm trying to figure out why it's okay. I liked it. I think this chapter was really well made. A lot of action. This is the first time we've really gotten, like, proper action in the series instead of just Percy swung sword and enemy was too stupid enough to move out of the way.
That wasn't exactly action packed. The scene in the museum, because he just kind of
He closed his eyes and swung the sword, and Mrs. Dodds is kind of an idiot. Everyone in this series is kind of an idiot right now.
Yeah, not too smart. Yeah, I'm excited to finally get into the meat of everything. I mean, again, we're doing this chapter by chapter, so it feels very slow to me. I'm like spacing this out.
But we're finally getting there, and B, the journey does beat the destination.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So where can they find you, B?
You can find me on Tumblr at twinpoetry.tumblr.com, and you can find me on Twitter at B. Kelly Gorman. Gorman spelled Gorman, if that's a confusing name for you, I guess.
If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Suda41, that's SUDA41. If you want to follow our show on Twitter, that's at halfblood_radio. If you want to email the show, that's radiocamphhalfblood@gmail.com. I would really appreciate it. We actually haven't gotten any reviews, but we got a lot of 5-star stuff. So that's really cool. Thanks, guys, for taking the time to click us and get 5 stars. It really helps us out in the numbers. And you guys all rock. It's been an amazing experience so far, and I love hanging out with my friend B.
Yeah, it's been a really fun time. I'm excited about reading this book. I mean, I'm really trying hard not to read ahead because I know that I'll just get confused about what happens in each chapter, but it's really hard because I want to see what happens.
That's gonna happen. Don't worry about that, B.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be a patient person. We'll see.
Well, I'm Zach.
And I'm B.
And keep staying mortal. Bye.
Bye.